Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to try to illustrate to you why it is that you have to get prepared now, because the path forward for these United States of America is going to be a very rocky one. Why is that? I'm going to show you here in a minute. But I believe that we will see some kind of strife, i.e. World War #1, and or if not a world war, an internal war amongst us here in the United States. May it be a revolution or may it be a civil war, I don't know, but something big is going to happen, and one of the reasons why is this right here. Americans are tired, ladies and gentlemen. They are tired of not being able to live a decent standard of living that represents their labor. Homes are unaffordable for 99% of U.S. counties. Here in the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, where the American dream is to work hard, or at least we've been told, work hard, save up, get that house, get the wife and the 2.1 kids with the 2 cars in the driveway. That dream is now gone because 99% of counties around the entire country are now unaffordable to this generation. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to get worse. You've seen, and I've been very surprised at this, we've seen the price of houses continue to go up even though interest rates are going up as well. Usually interest rates and the price of homes are like in a divergence, meaning that the higher one goes, the lower the other goes, etc. Or vice versa, excuse me. So being that interest rates are going up, and now you're paying 7.5% to borrow on a mortgage for a house, that meant in the past that the price of homes would come down, right? To make up for that difference in interest rate. In other words, to make up for the price that you're having to pay to borrow that money. That's what interest rate is. But no, ladies and gentlemen, there is a shortage of homes on the market. Why? Because interest rates are high and people are like, I'm not going to sell my home. What am I going to get into if I sell my home? And how much is it going to cost me? Look at the interest rates. I'd rather keep my house with my mortgage at 3.5% instead of trying to get into something else that I may not even know that I can get into at 7.5% or 8%, or who knows, even higher, and at elevated costs as well. You see, if the prices were coming down, it would kind of like even out. It would be kind of like a zero-sum game. Interest rates went up, prices came down, so you're still paying about the same monthly payment. But no more, ladies and gentlemen. Americans are debt saturated, and the government is debt saturated as well. However, the government will find this out last. Why? Because the government creates nothing. But Americans, people that go to work every day, they do create something, and they earn a living off of their creation, be it exchange of labor, or maybe they're an entrepreneur and they create something to sell, etc. But the government just takes what it needs and or it prints what it needs as a form of deficit. So they'll be the last ones to learn, but we are learning this now. So not only are we paying prices for homes that are so high that most homes are now unaffordable, but also we have student loans restarting in the month of October. That's going to put a really big dent on the income that people were using to spend on other things other than paying it back to the bank. Now, I don't disagree that student loans should commence once again. They should have never stopped. It's a debt that was taken out and it should be paid. But I'm telling you here that things aren't going to get any better with this commencing. The economy is just going to slag even further. Those that are supposed to be taking over the reins, ladies and gentlemen, are having to move in with their parents because they can't make ends meet. Do you think that that part of the population is going to be very happy that they have to go and live with mom and dad at 35 years old or at 30 years old, whatever it may be? Absolutely not. And I think that all of these things coming in and culminating on top of each other, along with all of the other stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that we're infiltrated with on a daily basis via the mainstream media or even social media, is going to culminate into a sparking point where the people will have had enough. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those are just a few examples of why I think that it is. The U.S. is like a powder keg waiting to blow up. There's going to be a lot of disdain from the people onto the government and from the people onto themselves because we have such ideological differences. But let's take a look at something that affects every single one of us, all right? And it's something that Americans are going to get tired of more and more as time goes by because they are now starting to see with their eyes that nothing in life, absolutely nothing, is free. So if you take a look at this chart, ladies and gentlemen, what I did is I took the median income of a family, of a household in the United States, and then I compared it to what it costs to live in the United States, right? So I went ahead and got the median expense of A, B, C, and D. We're going to go all over that and see how far the median income in the United States will get a family on an annual basis. And in the end, we'll go ahead and add everything up and see if there's even anything left over. So you can see here that the median income in 2022 was $74,580. So $74,500 was the median income for a household in the US. Remember, this is for a household, not for an individual. For an individual, it's a lot less than what it is for a household. But we're going to assume that your average household in the US has 2 people working in there because they have to in order to make ends meet. So I went ahead and took the median income and I figured let's go ahead and say a family of 4, a husband, a wife, and 2 children. All right. And then we went ahead and said how much of that $74,500 do they have to pay on taxes? So here in the end, after your basic deductions and all that kind of stuff, they're going to end up paying about $1,176 on taxes. So that's going to come right off of the top. Right now, this is after they do their taxes at the end of the year. And this is only federal. I know that there's a whole bunch of states out there that have a state income tax, but I didn't even bother putting that into this calculation. We're just going to go with federal and see where we end up. And since we were talking about the American dream, we're going to go ahead and choose a mortgage instead of rent. So here, your average monthly mortgage in the United States is about $2,165, ladies and gentlemen. If you're renting, it's around $1,700, $1,800, depending on where, of course. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments of people saying, well, my mortgage is $3,500. Well, my mortgage is $1,700. Average, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're going with. The average mortgage in the US is about $2,165 on top of that annual tax payment to the IRS of $1,100 and change that we already talked about. So let's go ahead and continue to add up these monthly expenses. And if I forgot a monthly expense because I didn't think of it, go ahead and leave it in the comments and we can just add it on later on a different video. But I tried to capture every monthly expense that there is just on average everyday living. So mortgage, taxes, number 1 and 2. Let's see what number 3 is. You can see right here that we have a thrifty plan, so someone that's trying to watch their pennies. We have a low cost plan, we have a moderate plan, and then we have a liberal budget, meaning that they have enough money to spend where they don't really have to take a look at prices when they go to the store. But I went ahead and got something around the middle, a low cost plan, which is about $1,047 per month for food. Now, I know that a lot of you out there are going to say, man, we spend a lot more than that for a family of 4. And I would believe it because things are getting very expensive out there. I honestly don't know how some people can live who are just making, let's say, 20 bucks an hour. How some people can actually live like that and maintain a family and or a household at the same time. But we're going to go with about $1,047 per month for groceries. The average person who has a car payment spends between $700 to $500 each month on a new and used vehicle. So instead of taking the average of 2 car payments, which would be about $1,200 a month, we're only going to do 1. So we'll do $600 a month for a car payment on average and about $2,000 a year for insurance payments. We'll go ahead and add that up to our tally towards the end of the video and see what it comes out to. So just the premium on average, an American family is spending about $1,152 a month. And that was back in 2020. It's the earliest year I can get as far as what the average family paid for insurance premium per month in the US. And this is incredible. $1,152 per month, ladies and gentlemen. And that's not counting the deductible. The deductible is in case you have to use your insurance, which on top of the premium, you're going to pay that first. So we didn't add that in. We'll go ahead and see what this comes up to towards the end of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you all, and that is why I did not want to put you through the torture of going over every single monthly expense in detail. So I sped the rest of that portion of the video up by like 60 times and will now go over the tally of all expenses to see what we came up with. I will leave a link to all of these sites where I got the average expenses for each line item so that you can revisit them if you like. Now let's go ahead and finish this video up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, after some serious calculations with my on-screen calculator, which you did not see because I didn't want to bore you to death, you see right here I went ahead and tallied up everything on a monthly basis because some of the things that we talked about were on a monthly basis, so we went ahead and multiplied it times 12 to make it an annual basis. For example, your car. The car average was $600 a month, so we went ahead and made it $7,200 a year. Anyways, the average salary is $74,580 a year. Federal tax for that, $1,176. Remember, we didn't include any state tax on that whatsoever. Mortgage, $25,980, which is our most expensive expense of the year. Food, $12,564, which I believe that's on the low side. Only $12,000 a year for food. A car payment, $7,200 a year. Car insurance, $2,014 a year. Health insurance premium, not anything else, just premium. That's if you don't have to go to the doctor. $13,824. Utilities, $56.40. Gas for your vehicle, $21.48. Car maintenance, $800 a year. Clothes, $1,434 for a family of 4. This is what we're discussing here. Taxes on your house, $2,690. Home insurance, $1,820. Let me know if I forgot something or missed something down in the comments, for a total of $77,290 a year, ladies and gentlemen. So you're not even keeping your head above water if you're the average family in the United States of America. And something that we didn't add, ladies and gentlemen, to these expenses are credit cards or student loans. And we know that Americans owe a record amount of money on credit cards. But even without adding those things to this annual budget here, we still blow our budget by about 5% or so. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I see that these United States of America will either, number one, fight back, get prepared, and resist a government that has no choice. If our government wants to stay in power, ladies and gentlemen, they have no choice but to bring forward a CBDC, but to keep printing money out of thin air. They have no choice, ladies and gentlemen. And the more of those things that they do, CBDC, social credit score, ID, digital ID, continuing to print money out of thin air and devaluing our dollars, the more of that is done unto the American people, the more of a socialist/communist country that we become. That's where I see us headed if we keep going down the same road that we're headed now. And that is why I often say you have to get prepared so that you can resist and be able to use your no muscle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, other than that, I hope that you got something out of this. I hope that if I end up uploading this after that phone thing that's supposed to be going on today with FEMA, I hope that I can upload this video and get through that. So we'll just see. Let me see. Right now it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, so we'll see what happens in the next couple of hours. I think it's supposed to be about 10 o'clock my time that stuff happens. So we'll see. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, having said that, have a great day. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope that you're preparing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we can get through this, but we have to be able to resist when these things come along, like a CBDC, that sound too good to be true. And the reason that they're going to sound too good to be true is because it will be, ladies and gentlemen. We won't find out how bad it is until after there's no turning back. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.